The champagne bubbled against my lips as I surveyed the crowded hotel ballroom, feeling absolutely electric. This was my night, our marketing firm's biggest client event of the year, and I'd worked my ass off to make it perfect. The downtown Marriott's crystal chandeliers cast golden light across the sea of suits and cocktail dresses, and I felt like I belonged right in the center of it all. "Elowen, you look amazing," squealed Jessica from accounting, her third glass of wine making her voice pitch higher than usual. "That dress is killer on you." I smoothed down my black silk number, the one that hugged every curve just right. Jonas had barely glanced up from his phone when I'd walked out of our bedroom earlier, muttering something about quarterly reports. Typical. "Thanks, babe. Where's the fun crowd tonight?" I scanned the room, spotting my usual work crew clustered near the bar. "Over there with Marcus and the gang. They've been asking where you are." Jessica giggled. "And guess who showed up as someone's +1? My heart did a little flip before I could stop it. "Who?" "Toby Ricks. Remember him? Your college boyfriend. He's here with that redhead from the PR firm downtown." I felt my cheeks flush, and it wasn't from the champagne. Toby. God, I hadn't seen him in almost 2 years, not since that awkward run-in at the coffee shop near my office. He'd looked good then, really good, with that same crooked smile that used to make me melt. "Oh, that's nice," I said, trying to sound casual. "Is Jonas here yet?" "Yeah, he's over by the appetizer table, looking thrilled to be here." Jessica rolled her eyes. "Seriously, Elowen, does that man ever smile? You're like this vibrant butterfly, and he's just tired from work," I cut her off, though the words felt hollow. Jonas had been distant for months now, buried in spreadsheets and client files, coming home later and later. When was the last time he'd really looked at me, really seen me? I grabbed another glass of champagne from a passing waiter and made my way toward the bar, my heels clicking confidently against the marble floor. The crowd parted naturally. I had that effect when I was in my element. This was my world, my people, my success story unfolding. "Elowen fucking mirth," Marcus Chen from Creative called out as I approached. "There's our queen. This party is insane. You outdid yourself." "Language, Marcus," I laughed, but I was glowing from the praise. "Just wait until you see the presentation tomorrow. Jameson Industries is going to flip." "Speaking of flipping," said Amanda from social media, her eyes sparkling with mischief, "look who's been asking about you all night." I turned, and there he was, Toby Ricks, leaning against the bar in a perfectly tailored navy suit, his dark hair slightly tousled in that effortless way that had always driven me crazy. Our eyes met across the crowded space, and that familiar electric jolt shot through me. He smiled, that crooked, devastating smile, and raised his glass in my direction. "Shit," I breathed. "Go say hi," Amanda urged. "What's the harm? It's just being polite." I glanced around the room until I spotted Jonas, standing alone by the shrimp cocktail display, scrolling through his phone with that perpetually serious expression. He hadn't even noticed I'd moved from where he'd last seen me 20 minutes ago. "You're right," I said, downing the rest of my champagne. "It's just being polite." I made my way through the crowd, feeling every eye on me, feeling powerful and desired, and alive in a way I hadn't felt in months. Toby pushed off from the bar as I approached, that smile widening. "Elowen mirth," he said, his voice that same low rumble that used to whisper my name in dark dorm rooms. "You look absolutely incredible." "Toby," I breathed, suddenly feeling like I was 22 again. "What are you doing here?" "Sarah from Morrison PR invited me, said there'd be good networking opportunities." His eyes traveled over me slowly, appreciatively. "She didn't mention the view would be this spectacular." I felt myself blushing like a schoolgirl. "You always were a charmer. And you always were the most beautiful woman in any room you walked into." He stepped closer, close enough that I could smell his cologne, something expensive and intoxicating. "Some things never change." "Some things do," I said, holding up my left hand where my engagement ring caught the light. I'm getting married in 6 months. Lucky bastard, Toby said, but his smile didn't fade. Is he here? I'd love to meet the man who finally tamed Elowen mirth. I glanced back toward Jonas, who was now in conversation with someone from the hotel catering staff, probably complaining about something. He's around somewhere, working, as usual. Working at a party, that's a crime. Toby signaled the bartender. 2 more champagnes. We need to celebrate properly. Celebrate what? You, this incredible event, old friends reuniting. He handed me a fresh glass. The fact that you still make my heart race after all these years. The champagne was making me bold, reckless. Toby, I know, you're taken. I respect that. He clinked his glass against mine. But I can still appreciate her work of art, can't I? We talked for what felt like hours, but was probably only 30 minutes. He told me about his consulting business, his travels, his recent divorce. I found myself opening up about work, about my frustrations with Jonas's emotional distance, about feeling like I was sleepwalking through my own life. You deserve better, Toby said softly, his hand brushing against mine as we both reached for the bar. You deserve someone who sees how extraordinary you are. I should get back, I said, but I didn't move away from his touch. One more drink. Come on, for old time's sake. I looked around the room. My work friends were deep in conversation with potential clients. Jonas was nowhere to be seen, probably in the bathroom or outside taking a work call. The party was in full swing, everyone having an amazing time thanks to my hard work. 1 more, I agreed. That 1 more turned into 2 more, then 3. Toby was funny and charming, and made me feel like the center of the universe. He remembered little things about me, how I liked my coffee, my favorite movie, the way I used to laugh at his terrible jokes. When was the last time Jonas had remembered anything about me that wasn't related to household logistics? I need some air, I said eventually, feeling flushed and dizzy from the alcohol and attention. I'll walk with you, Toby offered immediately. We made our way out of the ballroom and into the hotel's elegant hallway. The noise of the party faded behind us, replaced by the soft classical music piped through hidden speakers. The hallway was dimly lit, intimate, with plush seating areas scattered between marble columns. This is better, I sighed, leaning against the wall. I love the energy in there, but sometimes you need a moment to breathe. You always were good at reading a room, Toby said, moving to stand in front of me. Remember that party junior year when you convinced everyone to move it outside because the dorm was too stuffy? And it started raining 20 minutes later, I laughed. We were soaked. But we didn't care. We danced in the rain like idiots. We were idiots, I said softly. Happy idiots, he corrected, stepping closer. When was the last time you danced in the rain, Elowen? I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember the last time I'd done anything spontaneous or joyful, or just for the hell of it. Everything with Jonas was planned, scheduled, practical. I miss that, I whispered. Miss what? Feeling alive. Toby's hand came up to cup my cheek, his thumb stroking across my skin. You're the most alive person I've ever known. Don't let anyone dim that light. And then he was kissing me. Soft at first, tentative, giving me a chance to pull away. But I didn't. Instead, I melted into him, my hands fisting in his suit jacket, kissing him back with 6 years of pent-up frustration and longing, and the desperate need to feel wanted. It lasted maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute. Time seemed suspended in that hallway, in that moment of pure feeling and connection and reckless abandon. When we broke apart, I was breathless, my lipstick smeared, my heart pounding. Elowen, Toby breathed. Oh God, I whispered, reality crashing back. Oh God, I shouldn't have. Hey, it's okay, he said gently. It's okay. But it wasn't okay. I was engaged. I was supposed to be planning a wedding, building a life with Jonas. What had I just done? I need to get back, I said, pushing past him toward the ballroom entrance. Elowen, wait. But I was already walking away, my heels clicking rapidly against the marble floor. I needed to find Jonas, needed to act normal, needed to pretend that nothing had happened. I pushed through the ballroom doors and immediately spotted my work crew near the dessert table, phones out, giggling over something on Amanda's screen. There she is, Jessica called out. Girl, you are trending. What? I hurried over, still feeling shaky from the encounter with Toby. Amanda held up her phone, and my blood turned to ice. There, on her Instagram story, was a video of the hotel hallway. A video of me pressed against the wall, Toby's hands on my face, our mouths locked together in that passionate kiss. Marcus got it on the security monitor feed, Amanda laughed. The hotel guy was showing him how their system works. This is so hot, Elowen, like a movie scene. You posted this, I whispered, horrified. Just on my story. It's so romantic. Your secret admirer couldn't resist you. I stared at the screen, watching myself betray my fiancé in high definition. The angle was perfect, showing both our faces clearly. There was no denying what was happening, no explaining it away. Delete it, I said urgently. Delete it right now. Why? It's not like it shows anything really bad. Delete it. Amanda jumped at my tone, quickly tapping her phone. Okay, it's gone. Geez, I was just having fun. But the damage was done. In the few minutes it had been live, how many people had seen it? How many had screenshotted it, shared it? I scanned the room frantically until I spotted Jonas near the exit, his face pale, his jaw clenched tight. Our eyes met across the crowded ballroom, and I saw something in his expression I'd never seen before. Disappointment, deep, bone-weary disappointment. He'd seen it. He'd seen everything. Jonas turned and walked out of the ballroom without a word, leaving me standing there in my beautiful dress, surrounded by my work friends, with the taste of another man's kiss still on my lips, and my world crumbling around me. I didn't sleep that night. How could I? Jonas had come home hours after I did, moving through our apartment like a ghost. He'd gone straight to the guest bedroom without saying a word, and I'd lain awake in our king-sized bed, staring at the ceiling and trying to figure out how to fix this. By morning, I had my strategy. It was one kiss, one stupid, meaningless kiss that meant absolutely nothing. Jonas was overreacting, letting his insecurities get the better of him. We'd been together for 4 years. Surely that counted for something. I made his favorite breakfast, blueberry pancakes with real maple syrup, the expensive kind from Vermont. Coffee exactly how he liked it, black with 1 sugar. I even put on his favorite sundress, the yellow one he'd complimented me in last summer. Morning, baby, I said brightly when he emerged from the guest room, already dressed for work. I made pancakes. He looked at me for a long moment, his dark eyes unreadable. We need to talk, Elowen. Of course we do. Sit, eat, we can talk. I bustled around the kitchen, keeping my voice light. Last night was crazy, wasn't it? I drank way too much. You know how I get at work events, all that adrenaline and champagne. Jonas sat down slowly, but he didn't touch the food. I saw the video. I know you did, and I'm so sorry you had to see that. I sat across from him, reaching for his hands. He didn't pull away, which I took as a good sign. It was nothing, Jonas, absolutely nothing. Toby was he was drunk too, and we were reminiscing about college, and it just happened. It didn't mean anything. It didn't mean anything, he repeated flatly. Nothing at all. You're the one I love. You're the one I'm marrying in 6 months. One stupid kiss doesn't change that. I squeezed his hands. We've all made mistakes when we've had too much to drink, right? Remember your office Christmas party 2 years ago, when you told your boss exactly what you thought about the new filing system? That's not the same thing, Elowen. Of course it's not exactly the same, but the principle is the same. Alcohol makes us do stupid things. It doesn't reflect who we really are or what we really want. Jonas pulled his hands away and stood up. I need some time to think. Think about what? There's nothing to think about. I followed him toward the door, desperation creeping into my voice. Jonas, please. Don't let one meaningless mistake ruin everything we've built together. He paused at the door, his hand on the knob. Was it meaningless, Elowen? Because from where I was standing, it looked like you were exactly where you wanted to be. That's not fair, I protested. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? He turned to face me, and I was struck by how tired he looked. When had those lines appeared around his eyes? When was the last time you kissed me like that? I kiss you like that all the time. No, he said quietly. You don't. When was the last time you looked at me the way you were looking at him? I opened my mouth to argue, but no words came, because he was right, and we both knew it. When had I stopped seeing Jonas as exciting? When had he become just comfortable? I'll be staying late at the office for a while, he said. I need space to figure out what I want to do about this. What you want to do? Jonas, there's nothing to do except forgive me and move on. Couples work through things like this all the time. Things like this, he repeated. You mean affairs? It wasn't an affair. It was one kiss. But he was already walking out the door, leaving me standing in our kitchen with untouched pancakes and a growing sense that this wasn't going to be as easy to fix as I'd thought. I called in sick to work and spent the day crafting my narrative. By afternoon, I had it perfected. I posted on Instagram. Sometimes the people closest to us are the quickest to judge us for being human. Growth means learning from our mistakes, not being defined by them. #authenticity, #growth, #haters. The responses were immediate and gratifying. Heart emojis from my work friends. Comments about how brave I was for being vulnerable. Amanda wrote, "You're so real, girl. Some people just can't handle genuine emotion." See? I wasn't the villain here. I was just a woman who'd made a human mistake, and Jonas was being unreasonably harsh about it. My phone buzzed with a text from my sister Maya. "Saw your post. What's going on?" I typed back quickly. "Nothing major. Jonas is being dramatic about something stupid. You know how men can be." "Want to talk about it?" "I'm fine. Just need him to get over himself." But even as I typed the words, I felt a nagging doubt. Was I being too dismissive? Was there something I was missing? The doubt disappeared when my mother called that evening. "Sweetheart, Maya mentioned you and Jonas had a little spat. Are you okay?" "I'm fine, Mom. It's really nothing. I ran into an old friend at a work event and Jonas got jealous. You know how insecure he can be." "Oh, honey, men and their egos. Your father was the same way when we were younger. Remember that time he got upset because the grocery store clerk complimented my hair?" "Exactly. It's so ridiculous. Jonas will come around. He'd be crazy to let you go over something so silly. You're the best thing that ever happened to him." Hearing my mother's validation made me feel better. She was right. Jonas would come around. He always did. And if he didn't, well, maybe that said more about him than it did about me. But when he came home that night, he didn't come to our bedroom. I heard him moving around the apartment quietly, opening drawers, shuffling papers. When I got up to use the bathroom around midnight, I saw light under the guest room door and heard the soft clicking of laptop keys. What was he doing in there? The next morning, I found him in the kitchen making coffee. He looked like he hadn't slept much. "Morning," I said cautiously. "How did you sleep?" "Fine." He didn't look at me. "Jonas, this silent treatment is getting ridiculous. Can we please just talk about this like adults? I've been thinking about what you said, about it being meaningless." Relief flooded through me. Good, because it really was. If it was meaningless, then it should be easy for you to promise it won't happen again. Of course I can promise that. It won't happen again. And you'll block Toby's number. Delete him from social media. No contact. I hesitated. That seemed extreme. "Jonas, we're adults. We can be civil if we run into each other. No contact, Elowen. You're being controlling. I'm being reasonable. If it meant nothing, then losing contact with him should mean nothing too. I didn't like his logic, but I could see he wasn't going to budge. Fine, if that's what you need to feel secure. And no more work events without me. Now you're being ridiculous. Those events are part of my job. Then I'll come with you. You hate those events. You spend the whole time on your phone or complaining about the music being too loud. Then maybe we need to reconsider whether they're worth it. I stared at him. Are you seriously trying to control my career because you can't handle your own jealousy? I'm trying to save our relationship. By turning into a controlling asshole? That's not saving anything, Jonas. That's killing it. Something shifted in his expression. Maybe it's already dead. The words hung between us like a physical blow. You don't mean that, don't I? He grabbed his coffee and headed for the door. I'll be working late again tonight, don't wait up. After he left, I sat in our kitchen feeling shaken. This wasn't going according to plan. Jonas was supposed to forgive me by now. He was supposed to realize that I was more important than his hurt feelings. I called Amanda. Girl, you sound stressed. What's going on? Jonas is being impossible about the whole Toby thing. He's trying to control my career now. Ugh, men. They can't handle it when we're successful and attractive. Makes them insecure. Exactly. I work my ass off for this company, and now he wants me to give up networking events because he can't trust me. That's emotional abuse, Elowen. Isolation and control. You should seriously think about whether this is the kind of man you want to marry. I know, right? I'm starting to wonder if I'm settling. You could have anyone you want. Don't let him dim your shine. After hanging up, I felt better. Amanda was right. I was successful, attractive, accomplished. If Jonas couldn't appreciate that, maybe the problem wasn't me. I posted another Instagram story. Never let someone else's insecurities limit your potential. You were born to shine. The likes and supportive comments poured in. My work friends, college acquaintances, even some random followers telling me how inspirational I was. See? I wasn't the problem here. Jonas was. But late that night, when I heard him come home and go straight to the guest room again, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was missing something important, something that might change everything if I bothered to look at it clearly. I just wasn't ready to look yet. By the weekend, I was determined to prove that everything was normal. Jonas and I were fine, our relationship was solid, and this whole thing would blow over if I just acted like everything was back to normal. We're having dinner at Romano's tonight, I announced, when Jonas emerged from the guest room Saturday morning. I already made reservations for 6. Your parents, my parents, Maya, and little Ella. Jonas looked up from his phone. I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? We haven't seen everyone together in weeks. Ella's been asking when we're all going to have dinner again. Elowen, we're not exactly in a good place to be performing for our families right now. Performing? We're not performing anything. We're having a normal family dinner because we're a normal couple working through a minor bump in the road. Jonas studied my face for a long moment. Is that what you think this is? A minor bump? What else would it be? Look, I know you're hurt, and I understand that. But we can't put our entire lives on hold because of one mistake. Our families are expecting us to set a wedding date soon. We can't keep avoiding them. Fine, he said finally, but I'm not going to pretend everything is perfect. I'm not asking you to pretend anything, just be yourself. That evening at Romano's, I made sure to arrive early to set the scene. I wore Jonas's favorite dress, the blue one that brought out my eyes. I'd gotten my hair done that afternoon and splurged on a manicure. If our families saw us looking happy and put together, they'd assume we were happy and put together. My parents arrived first, followed by Maya, then Jonas's parents with 6-year-old Ella bouncing between them. Aunt Elowen! Ella launched herself into my arms, and I spun her around, laughing. There's my favorite girl. Did you bring me a new drawing? I made you a whole book. She dug into her little purse and pulled out a folded stack of papers. It's about our family. I flipped through the pages, smiling at her stick figure representations of all of us. But as I looked closer, something made my stomach twist. In every picture, Jonas was drawn slightly apart from the rest of us, smaller somehow, with a sad expression. "This is beautiful, sweetheart," I said, quickly closing the book. "I'll put it on my refrigerator." "Where's Uncle Jonas?" Ella asked, looking around. "He'll be here soon. He's just running a little late from work." Jonas arrived 20 minutes later, apologizing for the delay. He hugged his parents and Maya, kissed Ella's forehead, and nodded politely at my parents before taking the seat next to me. "So," my mother said, once we'd all ordered, "have you two set a date yet? June is coming up fast, and if you want the church, we really need to book soon." I felt Jonas tense beside me. "We're still working out the details," I said smoothly. "There's no rush." "No rush?" My father laughed. "Sweetheart, planning a wedding takes months. Your mother started planning your sister's wedding a year in advance." "And it was perfect," Maya added, but her eyes were studying Jonas's face. "Everything okay, Jonas? You seem quiet tonight." "Just tired," he said. "Long week. The accounting business is so demanding," my mother said sympathetically. "Elowen's been working late too, haven't you, honey? All those client events and networking dinners." I saw Jonas's jaw clench slightly. "Yes, Elowen's been very social lately." "That's how you build a career," Peter Vell, Jonas's father, said. "Though it's important to maintain balance. Family should always come first." "Of course it should," I agreed quickly. "Work is important, but family is everything." "Speaking of work," Maya said, her tone casual but her eyes sharp, "I saw some interesting posts on social media this week. Something about authenticity and haters." My cheeks flushed. "Just some drama with a coworker. Nothing important." "Drama seems to follow you around lately," Maya observed. "Maya," my mother warned, "don't start." "Start what? I'm just making an observation." "What kind of drama?" Lydia Vell, Jonas's mother, asked with concern. "It's nothing," I said firmly. "Just some people who don't understand how professional networking works. Some people get jealous when others are successful." Jonas made a sound that might have been a laugh or a cough. "Something to add?" I asked him sweetly. "No," he said. "Nothing at all." "Uncle Jonas, are you sad?" Ella piped up suddenly, her young voice cutting through the adult tension. Everyone turned to look at her, then at Jonas. His expression softened when he looked at his niece. "Why do you ask, sweetheart?" "In my drawings, you always look sad now, and you're always far away from everyone else." The table fell silent. Even Ella seemed to realize she'd said something significant. "Sometimes adults have complicated feelings," Jonas said gently. "But that doesn't mean you need to worry about it, okay? Are you and Aunt Elowen still getting married?" "Ella," her grandmother said quickly, "that's not an appropriate question." "It's okay," Jonas said. He looked directly at me. "Are we, Elowen?" Every eye at the table was on me. I felt trapped, cornered, like I was being forced to answer a question I wasn't ready to face. "Of course we are," I said, reaching for his hand. "We love each other very much. Sometimes people go through rough patches, but that doesn't mean they give up on each other." Jonas didn't squeeze my hand back, but he didn't pull away either. "Marriage is work," my mother said firmly. "It's not all romance and fairy tales. Sometimes you have to choose to love someone even when it's hard." "Exactly," I agreed. "Love is a choice, not just a feeling." "But the feeling should be there too," Peter said quietly. "Respect, trust, admiration. Without those, what are you choosing?" "We have all of that," I insisted, but my voice sounded shrill, even to my own ears. "Do we?" Jonas asked softly. The question hung in the air like a challenge. I could feel everyone watching us, waiting to see how I'd respond. "Yes," I said firmly, "we do." Jonas nodded slowly, but his expression was unreadable. "If you say so." The rest of the dinner passed in stilted conversation about safe topics, work, weather, Ella's school play. But I could feel the undercurrent of tension, the way Maya kept watching Jonas with sympathetic eyes, the way my parents kept trying to fill awkward silences. When we were getting ready to leave, Jonas excused himself to use the restroom. Maya immediately cornered me. "Elowen, what the hell is really going on?" "Nothing. We're fine." "You're not fine. Jonas looks miserable and you're acting like a crazy person." "I'm not acting like anything. We had a small argument and now everyone's treating it like the end of the world." "What kind of argument?" I hesitated. Maya had always been able to see right through me, even when we were kids. "I ran into an old friend at a work event. Jonas got jealous. It's stupid." "An old friend?" "Toby Ricks. You remember him from college." Maya's expression shifted. And nothing. We talked, we caught up. Jonas saw us together and got the wrong idea." "What kind of wrong idea?" "Maya, drop it. It's between Jonas and me." "Bullshit. You're my sister, and I can see you're about to blow up your entire life. What happened with Toby?" Before I could answer, Jonas returned from the bathroom. But something in his expression had changed. He looked resolved, determined. "Ready to go?" he asked. "Yes," I said quickly, eager to escape Maya's interrogation. We said our goodbyes, with promises to get together again soon. Ella made me promise to hang her drawing book on the refrigerator, and I assured her I would. In the car on the way home, Jonas was quiet. "That went well," I said, trying to sound upbeat. "Did it?" "Yes, everyone seemed happy to see us together. Your parents looked relieved that we're working things out." "Are we working things out, Elowen?" "Of course we are, aren't we?" Jonas pulled into our parking garage and turned off the engine. In the sudden silence, I could hear my heart beating. "I've been doing a lot of thinking this week," he said. "Good. Thinking is good. Communication is important." "I think we want different things." "That's not true. We want the same things: marriage, family, a future together." "Do we? Because from where I'm sitting, it seems like you want the idea of those things, the Instagram-worthy version, but you don't actually want to do the work." "That's not fair." "Isn't it? When was the last time you asked me how I was feeling? Really asked and listened to the answer?" I opened my mouth to respond, but realized I couldn't remember. "When was the last time you chose to spend time with me instead of your work friends? When was the last time you put our relationship first?" "I put our relationship first all the time." "You put the appearance of our relationship first." "There's a difference." I felt tears prick my eyes. "Jonas, please, don't do this. We can fix this." "Can we? Because I'm not sure you even think there's anything to fix." He got out of the car and headed toward the elevator. I hurried after him, my heels clicking on the concrete. "Of course I think there's something to fix. I'm here, aren't I? I'm trying." "Are you? Or are you just trying to get back to the way things were so you don't have to feel guilty anymore?" The elevator doors opened and we stepped inside. The silence stretched between us as we rode up to our floor. "I love you," I said desperately as we reached our door. Jonas paused with his key in the lock. "I love you too, Elowen, but I'm starting to think that might not be enough." That night, he stayed in the guest room again, and sometime around midnight, I heard him on the phone with someone, his voice too low for me to make out the words. Who was he talking to? And why did I have the growing feeling that whatever he was planning, I wasn't going to like it? Monday morning brought a text message that made my blood run cold. "You'll get the answers you want soon. Jay." I stared at my phone, reading the message over and over. What answers? What was he talking about? Jonas had already left for work by the time I woke up, and the guest room looked like he'd barely slept in it. The bed was made with military precision, but I noticed something else. His laptop was gone, and there were some papers missing from the small desk in the corner. At work, I tried to focus on the Jameson Industries follow-up, but my mind kept wandering to Jonas's cryptic message. Amanda noticed my distraction during our morning meeting. "Earth to Elowen. You okay, girl?" "Fine, just tired. Late night." "Trouble in paradise?" Marcus asked with a smirk. "Everything's fine," I snapped, then immediately felt bad for my tone. "Sorry, I'm just stressed about the Jameson presentation." Speaking of stress, Jessica said, sliding into the seat next to me. Did you see that your little hallway kiss video is making the rounds again? My stomach dropped. What do you mean? Someone reposted it on TikTok. It's got like 50,000 views. People are calling it hotel hallway romance and making it into a meme. I grabbed her phone and watched in horror as my most humiliating moment played out in a loop, set to romantic music with captions like, "When you can't resist your ex," and "This is what real passion looks like." "Oh, God," I whispered. "It's not that bad," Amanda said. "You can't really see your face that clearly. Most people probably don't even know it's you." But I could see my face clearly, and so could anyone who knew me, including Jonas. I spent my lunch break trying to get the video taken down, but it had already been shared too many times. The original poster's account was private, and they weren't responding to my messages. When I got home that evening, Jonas was in the kitchen making dinner. He looked up when I walked in, and I was struck again by how tired he seemed. "How was your day?" he asked politely. "Fine. Busy." I hesitated. "Jonas, about that text you sent this morning. What about it? What did you mean? What answers?" He turned back to the stove, stirring something that smelled like his grandmother's pasta sauce. "You'll find out soon enough." "That's not an answer." "No, it's not." I felt a flash of anger. "You're being deliberately cryptic, and it's not fair. If you have something to say to me, just say it." "I've been trying to say things to you for months, Elowen. You haven't been listening." "I listen." "Do you? When I told you I was feeling disconnected from you, what did you do?" I opened my mouth to respond, then closed it. I couldn't remember him saying that. "When I mentioned that I missed spending quiet evenings together, just the two of us, what did you say?" Again, I had no memory of this conversation. "When I asked if we could talk about postponing the wedding until we worked through some issues, how did you respond?" "You never said that," I protested, but even as I said it, I had a vague memory of him bringing up the wedding timeline and me brushing him off, insisting everything was fine. "I did say it, multiple times, but you were always too busy, too stressed, too focused on work to really hear me." I sank onto one of the kitchen stools, feeling overwhelmed. "Jonas, I'm sorry. I didn't realize." "That's the problem, Elowen. You don't realize. You live in your own world, where everything revolves around your needs, your career, your social life, and when someone tries to tell you they're drowning, you hand them a life preserver made of excuses. That's not fair, isn't it? When was the last time you asked me about my day and actually listened to the answer? When was the last time you suggested we do something I wanted to do?" I tried to think, but my mind was blank. Everything we'd shared felt like my wants or mere appearances. "I thought so," Jonas said quietly. "I can change," I pleaded. "I'll listen. Be present." "You've promised that for years, Elowen. Nothing changes." "This time is different. I almost lost you. I see how much you mean to me now." Jonas faced me. "You only see it because of consequences. That's not love. It's damage control." The truth struck hard. If the video never surfaced, would I be here begging? "I love you," I whispered. "In your way," he replied, "but your way isn't enough anymore." He served pasta and walked away. I sat alone, appetite gone, finally seeing years of making him feel invisible. Later, in the guest room, he sorted financial papers with quiet resignation. "Talk to me," I begged. "I've talked for 4 years. Tonight was the most honest we've been." "Then let's keep talking. Therapy, anything." "What I want," he said, "is to matter more than your job, your image, your ex." "Why did you kiss him back?" I had no answer. Deep down, I knew, in that moment with Toby, I'd felt alive, something our love hadn't sparked in years. The realization shattered me. I wasn't sure I could give it up, even for him.